Morning everyone, welcome back to the channel. We had a big front blow through last night. It's actually chilly right now. I wish I had worn a sweatshirt. I did not, because I was sneaking out of the house while the boys are sleeping to get out for a little bit. So we're gonna fish offshore a little bit more today with the weather that we had blow through. I mean, it's probably, man, yesterday was almost 90 degrees. Right now I bet you it's 58. Typical Wisconsin summer. And I'm gonna just tie on a Shaky Head. This is the Picasso, let me show you the shakedown. This is their tungsten shakedown. It's got the screw lock, which works really well. And this is a Shaky Head I've used for years. I actually have had a lot of pro anglers over the years tell me what their favorite Shaky Head is, and this is one of the ones that continues to be brought up, and I've been using it for years now. Really like it for a lot of the different worms. And I got some of the new colors of the Maxcent hit worm with me, so I want to play around with those, see if we can catch some fish and stay warm, because it is chilly right now. So the first color I'm going with, cinnamon blue. It's that green, it's that kind of green pumpkin, light brown is really what it is, and just the small blue flake. I really prefer the small flakes so much more over any of your really big flakes. It just gives it a much better sheen. And I'm just twisting it onto the hitchhiker that they've got on these shakedowns. Laser sharp hook. I like to go all the way through and then just basically skin hook it like that. Out towards the tip. Ooh, nice one. Man, still trying to get over this wrist thing, and I gotta like jam the butt of the rod in my belly, but I got enough belly to go around. Nice one. You like the cinnamon blue, huh? Nice chunker. So what I'm fishing right here, let me get that hook out. So what I'm fishing right here is just a point that comes out from here, and it runs out pretty far out into the lake. And the lake that I'm on right now is a really, overall, just a nondescript lake, I would say. It's not, there's just not a ton of features. It's kind of just a bowl shape, so to have any sort of point that runs out is good, but that's not the main thing. The main thing is there's actually a patch of rock out there, and you wouldn't know it from looking at a bunch of the lake, because the lake itself is pretty much sand and, you know, a little bit of gravel, but there's actually a little patch of rock out there, and it butts right up to the weed line. So you have this point that goes out, hits that 14-foot range, which is where the weed line is. And then actually the point itself is rock, but the rock continues to taper out to about 16. So it doesn't go that much further, but it goes just a little bit. And, you know, I've fished this lake for years, actually, since my childhood. And it was always a spot where, you know, you come and catch a fish, but we never really understood, you know, we just figured, oh, it's a point, it's a point. Well, you know, I kind of, after you start getting things like side imaging and you start wanting to get better at fishing, you know, I came out here and I started graphing everything. And I started realizing that a lot of the places I had been catching fish, these little sweet spots, once I scanned them, they had some rock on them, you know, just little patches. And that's one of the reasons why I'm throwing the shakedown head, with it being a tungsten head, is it allows me to feel the bottom. I'm only throwing the 1/8 ounce size, but you know, I'm getting it down to that 12, I'm fishing that 12 to 16 foot range, and that tungsten falls fast enough and I can feel it when it hits the rock, so I know I'm in the sweet spot. It almost at times feels like you just got to tap, like, you know, when it hits the bottom, that's how hard it hits. So for me, it's really critical because I know my bait's in the sweet spot, because the rock I'm fishing, I mean, these are little patches that are maybe 50 feet wide, if that. And that tungsten just gives you that feel, whereas the lead, it wouldn't do that, especially because it's not necessarily super clean. I've got grass mixed in as well. And it just, I feel like the little bit you pay more for tungsten is just an advantage. I mean, I'm really going to tungsten on pretty much everything, unless I'm fishing really soft bottom areas where the tungsten doesn't really give you any advantage. But I do personally feel like you get when it hits the bottom, you get a sound that attracts the fish. So I'm in the rock right now. I can feel the rock, and that's right where that fish was. I can just feel it clunk, clink, clink. And it's not like giant rock. It's probably basketball sized rock. But that's where that fish was. But the sound and the feel, just to me, is worth the advantage. If I'm fishing a soft bottom, you don't get any sound when it hits the bottom. In fact, you actually dig deeper into the bottom because you've got a smaller defined weight that will actually punch into a lot of that soft muck if that's what you're fishing. So I'm fine throwing lead in that circumstance, but if I'm fishing anywhere where there potentially is a hard bottom, I'm going with tungsten. Not a big one. Not the big one. But the worm is still holding up great. You guys know how much I love the hitchhikers. Like, I just think they do the best job locking any bait into place. They really just hold the plastic better than anything else, in my opinion. And with these being hard to get colors, and whether or not we'll ever be able to get them again, I'd like to be able to prolong the life. There's another one of my Magnum hitworm. That's a little better. Man, they fight so good. Good chunky fish. Like I've said before in past videos, how does that happen? How does the worm wrap around the hook when the worm never came off the shank? If you're fishing grass or grass edges, throw back to the same spot. That's what I did. I just caught those two. No, not giants, but it never ceases to amaze me how they'll get into little pods. Just always. I mean, not always happens, but if you're not on like a ledge lake where the fish will school up on, say, like a ledge, if you're on a natural lake, the grass is kind of the same thing as a ledge. Like, a lot of times those fish will just group up in a patch of grass for whatever reason, and that's how you find your schools of fish. Oh man, bluegill bit my tail off. Let's try one of the other colors. Let's try the Mimizu. This is kind of that flesh colored one. It's kind of a pinkish purple. I really like this color. Not sure if it's going to look more white in the water, if it's going to look more brown or pink. Just got a kind of a unique, very natural fleshy color to it. looks more pinkish to me. Now let's see if the fish like it. Ooh, nice one. He likes the Mimizu. Come on. That hook is such a good hook in these things. Laser sharp, nice chunky bass. Holds that worm in place. We did it again. How is the line? That's so wild to me. This color looks fantastic in the water. Like really natural looking bait. And I'm fishing what I would consider clear water. I mean, we've got probably 6 to 8 foot of visibility, so it's not like gin clear, but it's definitely clear, a lot clearer than most lakes. And it does kind of, it kind of glows, but it's not glowing like a white bait would glow. It glows, it's kind of a really odd color. But I mean, that took a few minutes to get bit on that one too, so I'm okay with that. There's another one. Oh, he just came off. Just came off. That may have been a bluegill for rock bass. We got a lot of rock bass in here. And them rock bass have mouths big enough to eat pretty much anything you throw for bass. That one feels good. Oh yeah. Just got a nice flat that comes out, and there's some rocks scattered amongst some cabbage. These aren't giants, but they're nice quality fish. Felt like you were going to be the biggest of the day, but nice chunker. So tackle wise, we're like I said, throwing the 1/8 ounce shakedown, the Picasso shakedown, the tungsten head with the screw lock in it, and then so it's the Maxcent Magnum Hitworm and one of their Tackle Warehouse exclusive colors. This one's the Mimizu, and then I'm throwing it on 10-pound Berkeley forward braid to a 10-pound Berkeley 100% trilene fluorocarbon leader. And then I've got, this is the Abu Garcia Xenon. There's another one, MGX, little guy. Sorry, I was trying to show you the reel, and it's a little piker. See how nice that worm is actually looking better as it gets chewed up, I feel like, and it's just locked right into place. So this is the Abu Garcia Xenon MGX. This is the 3000 size. And then it's a MHX. This is the NSJ 872 that I built. So it's a 7.3 medium power fast action rod. You know, enough backbone to drive home the hook and do the fish, but it's still a nice sensitive rod to let you feel everything you need to feel. It's funny how I feel like the Shaky Head has really kind of lost traction. I feel like a lot of people don't throw it like they used to. It used to be kind of like the primary finesse largemouth bait, and then like with drop shots and with Ned rigs, and you know, you got all these various new techniques, the hover rig. It's like I feel like a lot of people have, there's another one, a lot of people have really, that's a little guy. Oh, is this our rock bass? We got a rock bass. Told you we catch rock bass. I feel like a lot of people have just moved away from it, and the reality is it is an absolute dynamite bait. And specifically, in my opinion, largemouth and spotted bass love it, to the point where I think it'll outperform a Ned rig in a lot of situations. And I'm not saying it's better than Ned rig, I'm just saying there's a time and a place where it's like the bass would rather have a Shaky Head, you know, a long worm, and there's a time and a place where I feel like they'd rather have a Ned rig. And if we're fishing smallmouth, I'd almost always rather have a Ned rig. I don't know why, it just seems like smallmouth are not as into the Shaky Head. Now you can catch them on it, but the Ned rig seems to really outperform. For largemouth and spotted bass, I have had times where, like fishing tournaments, where they just will not eat anything else nearly as good as they'll eat a Shaky Head. And I don't know why, but it's just crazy to me how that can happen. And I know, I just feel like largemouth like a little bit longer worm. And it's a bait that we've just really moved away from. And I feel like it's not, there's no reason to do that. Like, it's still one of the best finesse tactics that we've got. And in a situation like this, I mean, you know, I'm just kind of, I'm working it through the edge of the grass. You'll see me snapping it through the grass, and then I hit the clean rock area. Most of my bites are coming when I'm, you know, out of that grass and into the rock area, but the patches are only like the size of my boat, and it's like the fish are waiting on that grass edge, waiting to ambush it. And the Shaky Head does a really good job, especially the shakedown, because I can rig it weedless and I can work it through that grass and then get it to the rock clean. Then I can feel the bottom, and then I'll work it till I feel the grass again, and at that point then I can just kind of reel up and make another cast. And there's a lot of other techniques that I don't feel like would allow me to do that quite as well and still have the profile of the Shaky Head. I think it's all I'm saying, I guess, is it's a technique that's still very much be in your arsenal anytime you're heading out and you're looking to do a little finesse fishing. There's one little guy. Coming up. So much fun. Ooh, best one of the day. Go. Another good one. Well, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I do want to point out, this is still the first worm. You can see how chewed up it is. I only used two worms. I used one of the Mimizu and I used one of the cinnamon blue. And the cinnamon blue I only had to replace because the tail got bit off by a bluegill, which just shows how good it's holding up. Do not forget about the Shaky Head, guys. That's all I can say. It's so good, really good. It's much better than people think too in grass and in grass type rock situations. Get yourself some of those Picasso shakedowns. Those, in my opinion, are some of the absolute best Shaky Heads you can get. The tungsten ones, just a good combination. A good combination. So thanks for watching. I appreciate all of you watching on a regular basis. We'll have a new video coming out tomorrow for you at the same time. Thanks for watching.